Hello, 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 hello. This is going to be a very impromptu episode, as you can tell by this. So I'm still in California. It's not quite my last day, second to last day. It's Saturday right now. Dede just left. She flew out earlier today. So I'm in a one-person vacation. I'm a single vacationer. What's it? Like a lone vacationer. Whatever. I'm vacationing by myself now, which feels very adult. I love it. So this episode is going to come out pretty soon from when I'm recording this, because I got back from dropping Teddy off, and I don't know, I just kind of like, I was sitting down in the Airbnb and I was just thinking, as I do, and I started thinking about my hair, and then I was like, you know what, I actually like really want to like dig into this as like a topic. So I was like, let me just, hop on a podcast episode and chitty chat about it, because why not? So I'm actually getting ready right now to go to a place called Honey's at something. It's a lesbian bar in LA, and I really have not had a chance to go hang out with lesbians since I've been here, well, with the exception of my actual like queer friends. So I want to go, I want to have a good time, just kind of chill. So I did record another episode earlier today with my buddy Khalil. It was great. It's going to come out after this, so you guys should absolutely check it out. But we did horoscopes, but I feel like, because I feel so compelled to talk about this topic, I want to reread my horoscope, because I feel like there must have been something that I missed, and that might kind of like inform why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling right now. So yeah, let's check that out. I just want to know. So it reads, you're allowed to change your mind about what you want. Are you looking for a skill to master? Today you are forced to let go of something, and tasks have to be completed in a timely fashion. Your belief that you're not allowed to fail is causing you to move on when you are bored. Take it easy. Let someone have high expectations of you. Do: action items, objectivity, alarm clocks. Don't: tight smiles, vicious cycles, weaseling. Maybe it's relevant. You guys tell me, to be quite honest. So this is just basically just going to be like a little like get ready with me while I kind of chat about my hair. Actually, my afro that is currently tucked away, out of the way, while I get ready in other ways. So let's chat about my hair. So when I was in high school, I developed, I guess you can call it a condition, disorder, whatever you want to call it, called Trichotillomania, also known as compulsive hair pulling. So for me, I actually kind of had like a very typical start to it, at least based on kind of like what I've seen from other people. I'm going to go switch out the way that I got this mic. I'm going to be honest, that towel was also like really pissing me off. So I'm doing this news anchor style. So I developed this condition called Trichotillomania, otherwise known as compulsive hair pulling. It's considered an anxiety disorder. It's very similar, well, it's kind of the cousin of a disorder called dermatillomania, which is compulsive hair, skin picking. So right now I actually have both, which is great. But it developed when I was in high school, kind of out of nowhere. I don't know, I can't really like kind of pinpoint a certain cause, but I remember that it kind of started like right in the center of my head, which I learned is like pretty common for people, where it starts as this like itch. And I just like, I was itching. I was pulling because I didn't want to itch. I was like patting my head, trying to get the itch to go away. And it's just like nothing could ever like really satisfy it. And so I don't know, I didn't really know like what to do with that. I thought that it was like a legitimate itch. So I kind of like took care of it like the way that I thought was right or that I thought would work. And eventually the pulling, because that kind of felt like the only thing that was working, you know, it got to a point where I had pulled out a bald spot on the back of my head. And so literally like, ever since I was a kid, like my hair has kind of been like an issue of contention between my mom and I, because I as a child just didn't really like what could be considered like the traditional hairstyles that Black women and Black girls at the time were expected to have. My hair was permed pretty much like from as long as I can remember. I didn't even know that my hair naturally like grew curly as a kid. I knew that I got perms, but I didn't really know what they did. And of course, like my mom was doing my hair for the most part when I was a kid. But something to know about me is that I have pretty sensitive skin and pretty sensitive hair. So I never really did well with the perms. Like I had a lot of breakage. My hair could never really grow all that well. And then as I got older and I was wanting to like flat iron my hair and stuff like that so I could wear it out straight, it just like was not doing well because I didn't really know how to take care of it, and the perms just weren't really great for it. So it was just like a really like not great mixture. So the biggest issue between like me and my mom is that I, you know, growing up in a predominantly white town, wanted to look like my peers, my white peers, who wore their hair down. And I never really understood why my mom kept saying no. She would say that like, oh, like wearing your hair down is like for grown people. You're too young for that. Like this was literally like, we would get into like arguments about it. Like that's how bad it was. And frankly, that's how insecure I was about my hair. I had awfully, awfully low self-worth as a child. I wouldn't even say just a child, like it continued with me for the majority of my life, over various things. You know, I've talked before about feeling like I was a butterface. You know, the hair kind of like went into that because it's like your whole like face and, you know, hair, stuff like that. So it was difficult. Like really, my hair was just always an issue, like constantly. So, freshman year or sophomore year of high school, I finally like got it all chopped off. Or not all of it, no. My mom took me to this salon where I got a trim, and the lady, she did like a little treatment and everything, and my hair was doing really well. And then I don't know what continued to trigger the pulling again, like, but it just kind of like came back with a vengeance one summer, and I pretty much ripped out like 80% of my hair over the course of the summer. And you know, I had like literally like tufts of hair like still stuck to my head. Oh, I just touched my new piercing. I gotta stop doing that. It was bad. It was really bad. I still had the bald spot in the middle of my head. I had a couple other spots that just like weren't doing very well. My scalp just was unhappy because I was plucking like from the roots, and it's just like over and over and over again. It's like the idea behind waxing, that like your hair gets thinner as you continue to wax, because it damages your follicles. So my scalp was pretty much raw. My mom still tried to perm it at times because like new hair was trying to grow in, and obviously it was growing in curly. So she would try to perm it, but because my scalp was so raw, it just ended up leaving like really big sores and stuff like that. Which I'd already struggled with, like having bad reactions to perms, like my skin having a bad reaction to perms before the hair pulling. And it was like, it exploded afterwards. Like I think she did like 1 or 2 perms where she was like, we're not doing this again, because it was pretty gnarly. And because I had like no hair, It was really easy to see. I became super insecure about people walking. Oh, sorry, I just hit the mic. Became really insecure about people walking behind me, especially because it just looked really bad from the back. That was also the time frame where I stopped looking at myself in the mirror, because I just could not stand what I was seeing, both in like my actual face and then also just like having to deal with the reality that I ripped out most of my hair and I was still continuing to pull. And like, that's the thing. I remember I wrote in my diary at the time, oh my God, this is sounding so high school, but I wrote in my diary at the time that pulling out my hair was one of the worst things I could ever do to myself, because again, I was already so insecure. And then it's like, okay, now I'm insecure and I'm bald. And not even bald, just like I have bald spots. Like my scalp is visible, my skin hurts. Like I was just like, I hated the way that I looked. Absolutely hated it. Hated everything about myself. Literally, that's what I wrote my college entrance essay, like my Common App essay about. It's about coming to terms literally with the fact that I hated myself. Why that essay got me into schools instead of a mental institution is beyond me, but it's neither here nor there. I'm here and I'm successful. So, yeah, it was awful. It was truly, truly awful. It kind of settled down when I got to school. I mean, there were multiple times where I did hear people talking about my hair when they were like standing behind me or walking behind me. I remember hearing some girls in high school talking about it and like wondering what happened, but like never asking me, never really saying anything. And the thing is, I was pulling my hair like anywhere and everywhere. It was still the worst like when I was at home, because like I would sit down and like watch something on Netflix and I would just have my hand in my hair the entire time, just like digging like at the root for something, some imperfection to just like pull. And what I do, I'm gonna link maybe like an informational video or something about Trichotillomania, because it's, I don't know, it's like, it's interesting. I kind of like looking at it from a scientific point now, but I don't know, I wish that I knew more back then, and I wish that I hadn't been so like hard on myself about it, because it wasn't something that I could help. It is compulsive. It is in the same family as things like OCD, anorexia nervosa, bulimia. Like, these are anxiety disorders, and a lot of times they're about control and feeling like you can control something in your environment, or instead of feeling the anxiety, you cope by putting that energy into something else. So for me, like, I dealt with the anorexia and the food restriction. I do have certain OCD tendencies, and then just in general, the compulsion of picking. And I'm treated for anxiety. That's what my medication is for, and that's really like what it has done a good job of tackling. Mind you, the picking has now, it's continued. Mostly kind of feels like something I do out of boredom. It's almost like I'm so not anxious now that all of my ADHD and neurodivergent symptoms want to pop up. So if I'm not engaged enough, like, it definitely kind of comes up. It's like it's very persistent. It's been very persistent for many, many years. So went to college. It got better for a little bit. And then I noticed it coming back. Like, my hair was growing actually, and I was really happy. And then I noticed the picking coming back. When was that? It must have been spring of my freshman year. And I just kind of said, like, enough is enough. I was trying to like, I was wearing hats pretty frequently. When I was home, I would keep my bonnet on my head or a scarf on my head so that I wouldn't pick. But then it's like I go and I'd reach under the bonnet or the scarf and I'd start pulling. I tried. I got braids the summer between freshman and sophomore year, which again helped, but still doesn't really address like the fundamental issue. So when I got the braids out, I just remember feeling like super insecure again, and I was wearing hats again, and I had a friend who like really wanted to see like underneath my hat because she had only ever seen me with the braids. She hadn't seen like my hair like, you know, naturally, and she was like asking me to take off the hat. She's like, oh, like, what can I see from behind? Like, can I see like the back of your head? And I'm just like, no, like, absolutely not. Like, this is not, no. And she didn't mean it like in a malicious way. I think it was like genuinely like curiosity, and she didn't necessarily think that there was something like, you know, like emotionally wrong, if that makes sense. But yeah, that fucking, no, didn't like that. So then I guess kind of said like enough is enough. And spring of sophomore year, I went and I had the majority of my hair chopped off, like fully chopped off, and I told the stylist like what I was dealing with, and she was like, oh, like I completely understand, like it's completely compulsive, I get it. And like I think that's the first time that somebody had actually shown compassion about the hair pulling. And again, like point blank, like that's what I should have gotten in the first place, especially like when I was like, you know, 14, 15 years old, all of a sudden doing this to myself and not really understanding what was happening. So got that settled, had my hair chopped off. It was fine for like a while. And then that summer, because at that point I was like, I'm going natural. Like I'm not dealing with this anymore. So that summer, I had my mom, like after my hair had grown out a little bit, I had my mom cut off the remaining permed ends. And then that's like when I fully went natural, and that's when I had my afro. For the first time, my little teeny weeny afro, and I was really excited about it and all that. But I remember even from day one, I was nervous about the afro making me look too masculine. Even when it was like super fucking short. And I remember, because that's also the summer that I actually started like dating for the first time, like off dating apps and stuff like that. And I went on a date with this one guy. That's also when I was still bisexual. But I went on a date with this one guy, and I just remember like getting ready for it. And I think like I wore like a V-neck, and I wore some jeans, like high-waisted jeans. And I think I don't know what shoes I was wearing, but I definitely remember like getting ready and just like feeling like, oh, he's gonna see me and he's gonna think that I'm emasculating him. And I know for a fact that if I'd had long straight hair, I would not have felt that way in that moment. As a matter of fact, I know that when I go back and I'm gonna edit this, I'm going to feel some type of way about it. I'm going to feel insecure about it. So like when I first, you know, got my afro, that feeling was definitely there, but I didn't think too much about it because at the time I was a little more masculine presenting, and it kind of like worked with me with dating women, since, you know, allegedly we're like in a mask shortage or whatever. But once I kind of realized like, this isn't quite like the way that I want people to perceive me, then, you know, things started to change. So senior year of undergrad, I started wearing a head wrap, which like I wasn't wearing it every single day, but just like the sheer maintenance on this fucking fro, and she's not even that long. Like, well, I guess, I don't know. I probably have like, I don't know, 10, 12 inches of hair, whatever you want to estimate that to be. That's how long it is. So it's not like crazy long, but it's not a maintenance, and it's a lot of energy. So like getting ready in the mornings, I was just like, I want to save myself time. So I would wear a head wrap on some days. And then slowly that just kind of became the thing that I wore every day. And then during the pandemic, I learned how to twist my hair. So I think I had my hair in 2-strand twists for like a year and a half, and I like took it out just to do my graduation photos, and I put it right back in, and I just kind of, you know, that's what I've been doing the last like couple of years. But the thing about the twists is it takes me like 4 hours on the weekend after I've washed my hair in order to put it in the twists. And I only wash once a week, but it's a lot of fucking effort. So I don't know what it was about this past fall of 2023, where I was just like, you know what? I actually want to start wearing my hair out. I think I took my hair out for the Halloween, it was a Les Cheek party. I took my hair out for a Les Cheek party, and it kind of like worked with the outfit. So I did that. And I'd already been like kind of wearing the twists like out, like without a head wrap, to certain things like on the weekends. But I hadn't really like dared to take the fro out in a long time. So I started wearing the fro out a little bit more. I'd wear it out for like a couple of days, and I'd put it back on the twists. And then in order to just kind of like save time, I got braids in December. And that's what I was wearing up until recently, when I had to take them out because they're really only supposed to be in there for like 4 to 6 weeks. And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely felt insecure about taking them out. I was very nervous about taking them out. I just have a really hard time feeling feminine when I have my afro out. Also, I apologize if this video is like this episode is super rambly. This topic just kind of like popped into my head to chat about. I didn't really plan it ahead of time or like have a script or anything like that. I was literally just like laying in bed playing a game on my phone when I started thinking about this. I decided we're going to talk about it on the podcast. Because, like, as I've, touched on multiple times, the femme identity is very important to me. Being feminine is very important to me. Presenting feminine and then also being perceived as feminine is very important to me. And what also kind of like, I don't want to say like goes against me, but like what I struggle with is, one, that I'm doing pretty well in the gym and I'm putting on muscle and I'm putting on weight. 2, my shoulders are broader than my hips. So the more muscle I put on, the broader my shoulders look and the more I look like a Dorito, and I don't want that. It's like what Doja Cat said, like an ass you can see from the front, like that's what I want. So that also kind of like works against me. I'm not even tall, but I noticed that I am taller than a lot of other women, and I usually wear heels, which makes me like even taller. And then I guess again, like just my personality and being that I am a little bit more dominant in my personality and very sure of myself and very confident, I feel like it just makes me come across overall as like more masculine than I want. And when I had those braids in, I felt like a bad bitch. I felt very confident. I felt very confident before I put them in. And I was trying to tell myself, like, when I was going to take them out, like, hey, you felt fine beforehand. You didn't feel insecure beforehand. Like, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And I think I just know, and I know that I feel so much better when I have the long, straight, flowy hair, to be quite honest. When I am meeting the expectations of Eurocentric beauty standards. And like I've spoken about before, these, the idea of like the femme lesbian that was presented to me when I first was exploring that identity was one that was built around like the ideal like 1950s housewife. And like, I'm not sure, I think that was just because it was like the Tumblr trend at the time. And that's why it was pushed so hard. But that, I knew that that's not, what I wanted. And I knew, that persona like is very like racially coded, is very, again, Eurocentric. And I was just like, no, like that's not what I want. And the thing is, like, I can see other Black women like with their afros, and I see them and I'm like, okay, like, yes, like you look feminine, like, or whatever. And like, I don't even think twice about it. So like, I just don't really understand like why with my own hair that grows out of my head naturally this way, that truthfully is neither masculine nor feminine. It's just my fucking hair. I have so many issues around how it looks and how it's perceived and, you know, how it makes me feel. Also, like, talk about trichotillomania. I'm literally over here plucking my eyebrows. I actually don't, my eyebrows are not like an area that I feel is very affected by trich. I don't pull my hair really anymore. I think like having it in the head wrap for like so many years consistently just kind of made my brain like redirect to other areas. So like I pluck my armpits, my legs, my chest actually, like literally, I don't know if you guys can see, but like all of that darkness, those dark spots, that's from me picking. My face I pick too, but I try really hard not to because that's my moneymaker. So you gotta be careful. I say it as I literally dig into something on the side of my face. And this is, like, I can't even express like how much I literally just want to sit here and like dig into that. But I know like there's nothing there. And I know that if I just like keep digging, it's just going to make things like worse and worse. So yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. I do wish that it had been like addressed sooner, but it wasn't. And it is what it is. So I just kind of have to like deal with it and live with it. Also, like, okay, I'm gonna do this wound care spray for my brand new piercing. And then I think too, like, there's just like so many like narratives about like Black women, and again, just like the perception that like we're naturally like more intimidating, that we're naturally more masculine, that Black people overall are like more aggressive. So it's like I'm dealing with that like regardless of how I look. And then like on top of that, you know, I have to deal with, you know, how I look, and how I like take care of myself and how I present myself. So it's fun. It's all really, really fun. And I totally don't hate it at all. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I just wanted to chat about this because like I am about to go out to like a lesbian bar, and there's actually this YouTuber that I was watching like a long time ago. And she was talking about like she had gone natural, and she had actually shaved her head completely, like big chopped, just the fastest way possible. And she mentioned that when she first did it, that she felt more compelled to like wear makeup and like really overdo her makeup in order to feel and look more feminine, at least like, you know, within that like self-perception. If I can find that video, I will absolutely link it down below, because I watched that like years and years ago. And it still like has stuck with me to this day. So sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I catch myself doing the same thing. At this point in my life, like I'm not really comfortable being seen without eyebrows. I'm only comfortable doing this because at least you will see me and I will look pretty by the end. But yeah, like I'm not really comfortable like being seen without eyebrows. And like if I feel like right now I've been leaning more into like eyeliner, winged eyeliner, things like that. I've been considering getting lashes. Sometimes, you know, I put on the highlight just to feel a little bit more feminine. Yeah, it's fun. It's really, really, really fun. And it's just something that I think about like actively when I am getting myself ready in the morning. I don't know, I guess I just like, I'm so afraid of not being perceived as feminine that like, it definitely, to be quite honest, that might just be like an anxiety-based coping mechanism in and of itself, to feel this pressure to look a certain way that like And it's not even like a way that necessarily like makes me feel uncomfortable or anything like that. Like obviously, like I like being femme, but it's almost like to the point where I can't accept myself in those moments where I do look a little more masculine, or those moments where I do feel a little bit more, those moments where I look a little bit more masculine, or where I feel like I look a little bit more masculine. Because the thing is, and also I want to make it clear, I'm not sharing this so that people can like come in and tell me like, oh my god, no, like your afro is like so feminine and beautiful and blah blah blah. Like, look, I'm simply sharing an experience here. And on top of that, there is no amount of external validation that is going to overshadow and speak louder than the way that you speak to yourself with your internal voice. And I have learned that the hard way. You cannot you can't date your way into feeling great about yourself. You can't fish for compliments so much that you feel great about yourself. You can't fuck enough people to make you feel good about yourself. It has to come from inside. And it has to be like a fundamental belief that you have about yourself. And this is also why I'm like actually super huge on like body neutrality as opposed to body positivity. And again, even as I continue to lift weights, it's like a big one because sure, I may not necessarily be happy with my figure on a daily basis, but like I'm getting stronger. I have less back pain. I have less joint pain. I'm healthier. Like literally when I took out these braids, my hair right now, as much as I kind of fucking hate her, this is the healthiest it has ever been. This is the longest it has ever been. This is the thickest that it's ever been. Like my fucking curls right now, like it's so happy. So like, I know that I'm taking care of myself, and I'm really happy about that. But I do think that sometimes there's a disconnect in my mind where I'm like, if I'm taking such good care of myself, and if I clearly care about my body, like why am I not in love with everything about it, you know? And it doesn't stop me from my self-care. As a matter of fact, because I was feeling insecure about like my literal like ass to shoulder ratio, hip to shoulder ratio to be less crude, I started doing more lower body. And when I tell you, my quads are looking great. My glutes, I'm getting a lot of good glute strength, which is actually really, really good for running. So, I don't know, I do try to like as much as the negative internal voice is there, I am trying to combat it with a much more positive internal voice as well. Or not so much positive, but neutral internal voice. Sorry if the mic like spiked earlier. My belt fell, and my belt is metal. I also got this belt from out of the closet, the one in downtown Miami, which I guess I was doing like a little fit check after this because we had some successful thrifting in LA. It was expensive and I didn't get a ton, but everything that I got, I'm actually like super happy with. And the selection I feel like was pretty good. Even if it was a little bit, just a little bit overpriced. All right, belt's on. I'm gonna do my eyebrows. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to kind of hop on and chitty chat about that because it is something that is very important to me. And, you know, I do genuinely want, especially like other Black women, to feel comfortable, like more comfortable about their natural hair because, again, this is the way that your hair grows out of your fucking head. We shouldn't be so like distraught over it, and we should never have been taught that there's something wrong with it. You know, my hair grows vertically. It doesn't, and out. It does not grow long and down. Well, even though it is like, you know, it can be kind of long, but it doesn't grow like long and down. It defies gravity. And I'm gonna be honest, it also absolutely hates California because it's so dry here. No, like I want other Black women to internalize this message that your hair, again, is not like either like masculine or feminine. It is just your hair, and it is just the way that it grows out of your head. And to be quite honest, if perming it makes you happy and makes you, feel validated in your gender, makes you feel more feminine, then perm it. No issue. If braids make you feel a little better, do it. If weaves make you feel better, fucking do it. Like, really, like, it's a non-issue. Twists make you feel better, then just like do it. But don't do it at the expense of demonizing your own genetics and demonizing your own history, if that makes sense. So I probably will be getting braids again, partially from just like a maintenance standpoint, because like I think I took my braids out like 4 weeks ago now, and I was supposed to put this back into twists, and I have not had the time because I'm fucking tired. And the maintenance again is getting to be quite irritating, simply because of like the amount of time it takes, and then like it has to be like wet before I can like actually style it. And then like I still, again, as much as I'm not pulling my hair out the way that I was before, I definitely still have my hands in my hair during the day when it's out. So I'm trying to like, manage that. But no, I can't even put a hat on it at this point because like it's literally just so fucking poofy. So that does not work. I mean, I feel like part of it for me right now is also the length that my afro is at, that like maybe if it was like bigger and like poofier, I would like it more. I do tend to like it more like fluffed out, as opposed to like right now, like my curls are like very defined. So you can kind of see like you got like little like bits here and there that are visible, versus if I have my comb, I'd actually be able to like puff it out and make it look kind of like a little halo, if that makes sense. That's why I say my ideal gender is a biblically accurate angel. Hear me out. But no, I don't love the fact that it kind of like grows up, because I got a big forehead, which I also used to be like way more insecure about. Now I'm like, I don't really care about like the fact that I have a big forehead. I care when there are things that emphasize how big it is, and my hair growing vertically absolutely emphasizes like how big my fucking forehead is. So that's fun, but also a very like African feature that I got from my very African family. So yeah, I try to keep up with these like positive internal messages, but like, bitch, we can't be happy all the time. Like, deadass. We can't be happy all the time. I can't be like doing like the healthiest thing all the time. Like, sometimes I'm gonna be sad and insecure, and I just have to deal with that in the same way that everybody else has to deal with that. Like, sometimes I feel like I had this expectation that medication was going to be like this magical cure for a lot of the issues that I deal with in terms of like my mental health and my self-worth and my self-image. And it absolutely has been a lifesaver, literally. And I have been able to, I guess, like, at the fact that I can even kind of have this conversation about my hair is not a bad thing. I'm really happy that I can kind of like chat about it and like be open and honest about how it makes me feel. But I think what I kind of like need to understand is that even though like those overall feelings, like my day to day, how I feel about myself is like substantially better. And like, I'm not at a point anymore where when these insecurities pop up, they don't like consume me the way that they did before, which makes me like really happy. But at the same time, I think I need to accept that like I'm always going to kind of have to deal with them. And like, I'm kind of just going to always have to remind myself of like those positive messages and kind of like push back and like just continue to speak positively to myself and to speak to myself with love and compassion. So yeah, that's this episode. I don't think this relates back to that horoscope at all. But also horoscopes and star signs, like, are they really real? Who knows? Blah, blah, blah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, send me messages and DMs. I love chatting with you guys. I love chatting with my fans. And I will show you this outfit when I am finished putting it together. But you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at bottumsup.pod. That's bottumsup.pod. You can also shoot me an email if you're interested in a certain topic, or if you want to come on an episode, or if you have someone you know who wants to be on an episode. Feel free to reach out, bottumsuppod@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much for all the support that I've had on this little platform thus far. It makes me super happy, and I am incredibly grateful, especially for the connections that I've made that have led me to hanging out in this like super chill Airbnb in Los Angeles, talking about my beautiful fucking afro. Truly, I am incredibly grateful, and I hope to continue to kind of give back to this community that has given so much to me. So with that, I'm gonna go finish getting ready. I'm gonna go to the lesbian club, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye. Quick final outfit check. I have this top that I thrifted from out of the closet, this belt that I thrifted from out of the closet in Miami. This one was from Wilton Manors. And then these pants that I got from Goodwill yesterday out here. Can't tell you exactly where it was, but yeah. And then I'm gonna wear my little Target heels. So, yep, that's the fit.